There is a recall for broccoli sold at Walmart that could be contaminated with listeria.
Think the produce in your supermarket is fresh, safe? Think again. Some are bruised, wilted, left out in warehouses overnight, or worse, wiped clean and displayed like new. And you're still paying for them every day. Behind the bright lights and organic price tags lie secrets that might shock you. Ever wondered why yesterday's salad went bad or your fresh carrots turned mushy? This video has the answers. Comment 1 if you regularly shop at these places. 6. Family Dollar. A disaster from warehouse to store. It sounds unbelievable, but Family Dollar, a familiar budget chain across America, was hit with serious food safety violations by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, FDA. In 2023, over 400 stores temporarily closed after an investigation uncovered a full-blown rat infestation in their central warehouses. Not just one or two rats, but a true plague. Live rats, dead rats, droppings, and urine were found in storage areas for produce, canned goods, and other consumer products. Think it stopped there? Goods from those warehouses kept reaching customers for weeks after the recall. Some shoppers still found produce with strange odors or mislabeled dates in stores that should have been cleared. The lack of thorough inspections and follow-through shows not just negligence in operations but a disregard for consumer health. Even beyond the warehouse fiasco, Family Dollar stores themselves are another weak link. Many locations lack proper refrigeration. Produce sits at room temperature under harsh lights and uncontrolled humidity, perfect conditions for bacteria to thrive. One employee confessed, "If the cooler breaks, we keep selling unless the produce starts to smell." That's not a rare occurrence, it's routine. With deliveries only once a week, or sometimes no produce at all, stores often refresh old stock. Wilted carrots, wrinkled onions, and moldy bell peppers get wiped down and displayed again. In some cases, Best Buy labels are even replaced with new ones to fool less observant shoppers. The scarier issue is overall sanitation. Family Dollar stores in low-income neighborhoods are often neglected. Dirty floors, leaking coolers, and moldy ceilings. Combine that with poorly monitored produce, and you've got a recipe for a public health crisis. If you've ever walked into a Family Dollar and noticed the produce section looks a bit off, dry onions, soggy carrots, or bags of greens with condensation inside, that's not a coincidence. It's a sign of a decaying supply chain that customers aren't fully warned about. Worst of all, what you see might just be the tip of the iceberg. Look closer, ask tougher questions, and if needed, shop somewhere else. A bag of produce for a few bucks could cost you a price your health shouldn't have to pay. 5. Giant. Bright lights hiding reality. Giant. A name that sounds strong and reliable, evoking scale and standards. But behind the dazzling lights and eye-catching produce displays, the truth isn't as grand as the name suggests. To many, this supermarket chain feels familiar, clean, and a touch upscale compared to competitors. But if you've noticed produce spoiling too fast or fruit looking great but tasting bland, it's not you being picky. It's because Giant is performing. According to former employees, Giant's produce sections are arranged not to help you pick the freshest items but to trick the eye. Vibrant produce towers are built with fresh items on top and older stock hidden below. One worker put it bluntly, "Customers pick from the middle, so the middle has to look the best, even if it's Monday's produce." That abundant and fresh vibe you feel is sometimes just a carefully staged act, not reflecting what's really inside. A vivid example comes from a customer in Pennsylvania. She bought a tray of pre-cut produce at Giant, packaged in plastic and labeled Fresh Daily. 2 days later, the greens turned black and moldy. On closer inspection, she found the expiration date deliberately smudged, not torn off, but subtly blurred to obscure it from casual glances. Former employees say this isn't rare. Near-expired produce is often reprocessed and repackaged into cheap combo deals like 3 items for $2. The manager's rationale? Better sold than trashed. While other supermarkets invest in produce staff training, many Giant employees admit they get less than 2 hours of training before handling entire sections during night shifts. The story doesn't end there. In 2022, a shocking incident in Maryland saw hundreds of pounds of fruit discarded due to a fruit fly infestation. Yet, that fruit was sold for hours before the recall. Customers even filmed flies swarming over organic apples and kale. One shared a photo of cilantro with spiderwebs woven between the sprigs, proof that Giant's organic label isn't always as clean as advertised. Clean stores, soft golden lighting, and neatly stacked goods all make you believe you're buying the best. But when the glow fades, what remains is manipulated expiration dates, recycled old produce, inadequate training, and unsafe storage practices. Worse, customers aren't warned. These missteps don't make headlines. They hide behind fresh labels, bright LED lights, and friendly green price tags. But once you look closer, you'll see how thin that disguise really is. If you've ever wondered why your giant salad tasted off after a day, or why your produce rots despite proper storage, it's not your mistake. You might just be a victim of a commercial stage too skilled at hiding the truth. 4. Food Lion. Just sell it before it molds. Food Lion has long been a go-to for families across the Southeast U.S. With its slogan, easy, fresh, and affordable, the chain hits the sweet spot for everyday shoppers. But behind that promise of fresh lies a series of troubling realities, where the guiding principle seems to be, just sell it before it molds. A former employee revealed, if produce still holds its shape, isn't leaking, and hasn't turned white with mold, it goes on the shelf. An internal saying circulates, if it doesn't stink, it's sellable. A customer in Virginia posted a photo of celery at Food Lion with black shriveled roots, labeled as a manager's special, like it was a steal. That image doesn't just reflect produce quality, it exposes a mindset of near expired is fine if it moves. The storage and distribution system is another major issue. Operating on a cost-saving model, many Food Lion stores receive produce only once or twice a week. That means items like cucumbers, bell peppers, or kale can sit in cold storage for days, if they're properly chilled. But a North Carolina employee shared that their warehouse often overflows, forcing produce to be stacked in uncooled hallways. Just leave it there. We'll deal with it tomorrow, is a common refrain. The biggest problem, though, is reviving spoiled produce. A deli chef at Food Lion admitted that soft tomatoes, wilted carrots, and limp greens are repurposed into soups, stir-fries, or prepackaged salads. If it looks okay after cutting, we use it. If not, we scrape off the outside and toss it in the pan, they said. This cuts waste but shifts food safety risks to customers. Customers have reported unwelcome surprises. A woman in Alabama found a bag of carrots coated in a slimy, cloudy film with black spots inside. Another in Tennessee filmed a coleslaw mix bag with a live worm crawling inside, despite a best buy date 5 days away. These aren't system-wide issues, but they raise serious questions about quality control. Even the display materials for produce are concerning. Shelves at many Food Lion stores are made of rough wood or porous plastic, prone to absorbing water and harboring dirt, yet rarely cleaned thoroughly. One employee noted, "We wipe them down weekly, but it's mostly sweeping up fallen leaves. No one scrubs them." That means layers of dust, bacteria, and mold can linger unnoticed. Food Lion doesn't dazzle you with flashy produce towers or glowing lights like upscale markets. But it operates on a troubling philosophy. If it has shape, color, and no stench, it's sellable. The problem is, produce isn't like dry goods. Every hour in storage, every mishandled transport, and every revival with a wipe and a knife adds risks to your dinner table. The saddest part? Many customers don't know because it looks fine on the outside, but look closer, and you'll see kale at the bottom turning yellow, salad bags with condensation, and soft onions sitting next to a discount sign. If you buy into easy, fresh, affordable, remember, only one of those is true. The rest might just be a facade. 3. Kroger, freshening. Old produce with lemon and cold water. Kroger, America's second-largest supermarket chain, makes you believe you're buying fresh produce with its vibrant colors and abundant displays. But behind the bright lights is a little-known truth. Many items in the produce section are only freshened up, not truly fresh. Their secret weapon? A simple mix of cold water and lemon. A former employee shared on a forum, "When greens start wilting, like lettuce or spinach, we don't throw them out. We spray them with cold water and lemon. It makes them look crisper and greener, but they're already near expiration." That's why you might buy a bag of greens that looks perfect, only to find the leaves turning slimy after one night in the fridge. This practice is more alarming when you consider that much of Kroger's produce isn't stored properly to begin with. Employees admit that pre-cut trays, from celery to red onions to salad mixes, are often prepped early in the morning and left out for hours before refrigeration. If the cooler's full, we leave them out until there's space, one worker said frankly. Cut produce exposed to warm air is a breeding ground for bacteria, especially when sealed in plastic wrap for hours. Worse, some stores have been accused of tricking the eye. A 2021 internal audit found certain branches labeled products as locally grown when they came from Guatemala or Mexico. A customer bought zucchini marked as local, but the box's barcode revealed it was from Central America. This isn't just a breach of trust. It raises concerns about differing agricultural standards and pesticides across countries. Pests are another issue. A viral video from Cincinnati showed flies swarming over bell peppers and mushrooms. Kroger's response was enhanced sanitation protocols, but just 2 weeks later, a similar video surfaced from a store a few miles away. In Georgia, a customer found rat droppings behind a display, unknown to staff until reported. Another tactic is the value bin, discounted produce tubs. Priced irresistibly low, they draw crowds. But few know these bins hold bruised, near-spoiled, or close to expired items too old for full-price sale. An employee explained, "We gather what's still usable and slap on a deal price. If it sells, great. If not, it's less waste." Like other chains, Kroger has faced fines for improper storage temperatures. An inspection found produce kept at up to 50 degrees Celsius, about 10 degrees Celsius, when safety standards require below 40 degrees Celsius. At that temperature, bacteria grow faster than you'd expect, and you're none the wiser. Perhaps the biggest concern is the human factor. One employee shared they received less than 2 hours of food safety training before managing the entire produce section on night shifts. With time pressures, understaffing, and heavy workloads, polishing wilted produce becomes the logical choice over tossing it. From pristine trays of greens under supermarket lights to a thin layer of lemon mist on past prime lettuce, Kroger crafts a colorful stage. But if you pause and look closer, you'll see the makeup doesn't hide the truth. Produce doesn't just need to look good, it needs to be safe. Smart shoppers choose with knowledge, not just their eyes. Remember, a glossy leaf doesn't mean fresh, especially when it's just had a lemon makeover to keep playing its part. 2. Safeway. Pretty on the outside, deceptive on the inside. At first glance, Safeway feels like a shopper's paradise for those who love beauty. Soft lighting, pristine displays, and glossy produce arranged like a food gallery. But the truth behind this facade can shock you. Beneath the golden lights and organic, fresh-picked today labels lies a system running on tricks that make fresh produce an illusion. A former Safeway employee revealed on Reddit their rotation theater. What's that? Instead of putting fresh produce out first, they place older stock on top to sell quickly, hiding newer items below. Think you grabbed a cabbage delivered this morning? Nope. It's likely yesterday's stock, wiped down, misted with water, and put back out. In one case, a store manager instructed staff to wipe mold off bell peppers with paper towels and place them back on the shelf. The chilling directive: if customers don't pick it up, they won't know. This smart cover-up isn't just about looks, it affects food safety. Health inspections in California, Washington, and Arizona have flagged Safeway for improper storage of perishable goods. Pre-cut watermelon, raw greens, and chilled fruit were often found in the danger zone temperatures where bacteria thrive. One store had a broken cooler for hours. Their fix? Move produce to the flower storage. You read that right. A space for fresh flowers not calibrated for food. And those misting systems keeping produce looking dewy? They're breeding grounds for bacteria. An employee confessed, "The water pipes are caked with mold inside. Customers don't smell it, but every mist is like a microbial sneeze." Even when you buy organic, you're not guaranteed what you paid for. When organic stock runs low, some stores fill organic bins with conventional produce to keep shelves full. It's a betrayal of trust for those seeking clean food, and they're none the wiser. More concerning are prepackaged products, salad mixes, sliced carrots, and boxed greens. Their neat appearance hides that they were cut in the morning, left out for hours, then packaged. The moisture trapped in plastic wrap is a perfect home for bacteria. As one deli worker put it, if you wouldn't eat carrots left on your counter for 12 hours, don't eat these pre-cut trays. Safeway builds a premium image, from shelf layouts to packaging, but it's caught in the same race to boost sales through appearances. Customers pay the price, shelling out for a label, a color, a false sense of security, with no real hygiene or honesty behind it. Think rinsing produce is enough? Think again. Water can't refresh a tomato starting to ferment inside or save greens tainted by bacteria from a broken cooler. The issue isn't your hands. It's a system prioritizing profit over consumer health. From dirty water pipes and mislabeled bins to half-hearted cleanups, Safeway is selling more than produce. It's selling an illusion of freshness. But you deserve better, and sharp eyes are your best weapon in the supermarket. Look closer, ask more, and remember, sometimes the prettiest thing on the shelf is the one you should avoid most. 1. Walmart. Cheap prices, costly risks. Everyone knows Walmart is the king of low prices. A place where you can grab eggs, a blender, and a bundle of spinach just steps apart. But when it comes to produce, the savings you get might come at the cost of your health. A former Texas employee revealed that some days they received crates of lettuce already spoiling. Instead of tossing them, they peeled off slimy outer leaves, sprayed water to freshen them up, and put them back on the shelf. All for the goal of display nice, sell fast, regardless of the product's true quality. This isn't isolated. Videos from other employees show crates of cucumbers, carrots, or cilantro left overnight at room temperature in warehouses simply because there weren't enough workers to move them to coolers in time. By morning, that produce hits the shelves, no one knowing it spent nearly 10 hours in a bacterial breeding ground. The concerns go beyond freshness. A North Carolina customer photographed cabbage at Walmart swarmed with tiny flies. At another store, a camera caught a child licking tomatoes on a low display for 3 minutes with no staff intervening. That tray was later used without cleaning. But the scariest issue is labeling. A 2022 investigation found some Walmart stores labeling produce as local when it came from Mexico. This isn't just about betraying trust, it's a safety risk. Imported produce may be grown with pesticides banned in the US or washed in substandard water. When you see organic or grown locally, you think you're buying safety, but you might be buying negligence. Walmart's known for squeezing suppliers on price, creating a domino effect from farm to store. Produce is harvested early, stored longer, shipped farther, and often refreshed with tricks instead of proper care. From lettuce picked 10 days ago to cilantro, sitting hours in a hot warehouse, it can still land on shelves looking fine, but harboring bacteria inside. Some think just rinse it is enough. But it's not that simple. If produce is contaminated during storage or starting to rot internally, washing does little. Especially with prepackaged items like salad mixes or greens, where moisture and plastic bags create a perfect home for microbes. Walmart draws millions weekly with low prices, but that doesn't guarantee safe food. As consumers have less time to inspect closely, trust becomes the most exploited thing. You might save a few bucks at Walmart's produce aisle, but you could spend hundreds on antibiotics if that produce carries unseen bacteria. When fresh is just a coat of paint, your sharp awareness at the store is your greatest asset. Look closer, ask questions. And if Walmart's produce looks too perfect for the price, you might be buying confidence, not quality. The image of glossy produce under warm supermarket lights is designed to spark a sense of trust. But after all we've uncovered, should we still believe in that facade? Behind the mist from sprayers lie clever commercial tricks that can trap shoppers. You see, you trust, you buy, and you eat at your own risk. Whether it's giant Walmart or upscale Safeway, Kroger, or Giant, they share a common flaw: gaps in their supply chains, storage, and product displays. When staff training is slashed, when wilted produce is freshened with lemon and cold water instead of discarded, when old greens are artfully placed over new ones, consumers become the last link in the decision chain, but never the fully informed ones. No one teaches us how to read produce in a supermarket, but it's time to learn. Otherwise, you'll stay an easy mark, paying for a carefully staged idea of fresh. Bags of greens with condensation? Be skeptical. Bunches of kale with dark edges or limp leaves? Don't hesitate to put them back. Pre-cut produce? Strange smells, darkening colors, or liquid in the tray are signs it's no longer safe to eat. More importantly, shoppers need to realize that labels like local, organic, or fresh pick of the day don't guarantee truth. They might just be part of a disguise for far-flung, processed, or even swapped-out goods. In today's retail world, trust is a valuable asset and the easiest to exploit. But it's not all bleak. The truth is, consumers can drive change with vigilance, by asking store staff questions, by simply refusing to buy wilted produce, even at a deep discount. Every choice you make sends a signal to retailers. Customers are watching. You don't need to be a food expert, just alert and proactive. Check expiration dates closely, smell raw greens, and inspect the color of tomatoes or lettuce. If something feels off, be ready to walk away. The cost of carelessness isn't just money. It could be your family's health. We live in an era where appearances are easily staged, and the truth hides where few bother to look. But now you know, not every item in a big supermarket is up to standard. An organic label doesn't always mean clean. The safety of your meals starts with your own eyes. No one protects you better than you do. And no action is too small if repeated enough, like carefully checking a bunch of greens before it lands in your cart.